now that we got that out of the way, credit to them. Chris Paul, Devin Booker came back in this game, right? The entirety of Suns fans probably expected the story to be about Devin Booker tonight. Chris Paul snatched that directly from him and had one of the best games of his career and set a record for the most field goal attempts without a miss in a playoff game in NBA history in his, 16th season at 37 years old? 15th season, 37 years old? One of the best games I've ever watched, beginning to end, by any individual player. And almost none of the shots were at the rim. This is all jump shots. An incredible performance by Chris Paul.
The previous record holder there was Nene, who had gone 12 for 12 in a playoff game, and it's just exactly what you think of when you think about that type of stat. What you need to do in order to be perfect, you need to be a Nene, a Tyson Chandler, a DeAndre Jordan. You need to be getting layups and dunks. For Chris Paul to do it without getting layups and dunks is just phenomenal, and I just did some quick napkin math because, of course, the stat sheets have not updated, and they won't update until tomorrow to reflect his overall stats on the series. So I had to calculate it myself. Chris Paul finishing the series, averaging 22.3 points, 11.3 assists per game on 67% true shooting. Obviously, that was lifted quite a bit after tonight. Before, he was pretty good already. I think he was around 58, 59 if you don't include this game. He had one dud, of course, with the 4-point game that Pelicans fans remember fondly. But going perfect tonight lifted him up to 67% true shooting. That's as good as it gets. It's just superstar impact, no doubt about it, no other way to say it. And for him to be managing the game, dominating the game in this way, a week or I think 2 weeks away from turning 37 officially, it's fairly unprecedented. And he's had a hell of a series, man. Compared to the first round series we had with him last year against the Lakers, where obviously he got hurt, so I don't hold that against him. But at the time he was struggling, and the team kind of had to persevere in spite of his limitations, literally being unable to dribble with his offhand, literally being unable to shoot the ball. And then to fast forward a year later, and this time it's Devin Booker who goes down, and Chris Paul is still perfectly capable of taking the reins and just not coasting, but leading your team throughout a series. So fun to watch.
Yep. I mean, this is what he's here for. This is why you trade for Chris Paul.
the 3-year-old, 2-year-old gag at this point.
To bring back, last year's meme. But it's true. I mean, ultimately, when you have one superstar out, it's the 8 versus the 1 seed. Then the ideal scenario is that superstar carries you through the end of that series, and you're able to win because it's the 8 versus the 1 seed. And I truly believe this is not a normal 8 seed. They were playing when Ingram and CJ McCollum played. They were playing at a 52 win pace this year. They're going to be good next year, and that means that it was even bigger of a hurdle than you expected to have in this first round. And people might not realize that now, but I think we're going to see the Suns against a team in the next round, if they're assuming they could be fully healthy and have a chance to look more like the Suns that we saw before, being that their health is there and they're against a team that is more likely meant to be a second round opponent, unless it's the Jazz.
With Chris Paul, man, just stepping away from this particular series for a second, but you watch the way he's played. It's a question we've brought up before, or has been brought up by listeners to us before. To see him dominate a series like this, I know he doesn't have the tenure. It's only his second season with Phoenix, but if the Suns could get all the way, he's clearly establishing himself in the pantheon of Suns greats, right? And I think all he needs is the ring at this point. If the Suns could get the ring, he's in the Mount Rushmore. Is he not? He's one of the top 4 greatest Suns of all time. I think, jumping ahead here, obviously, because there's a lot of work to be done before the Suns could win, but just theoretically, if they could do it this year, is it not Charles Barkley, Steve Nash, and then Devin Booker and Chris Paul?
Yeah. I'll say this to add to that. I've never seen a point guard have that good of a game for the Phoenix Suns. And they have a history of great point guards. Not even like Nash, the 06 run without Amari was insane. The 48-point game.
The 06 run was
against
nuts.
the Mavericks. That's probably the closest to it. But I don't think that it's fully sunk in And for those who are probably going crazy at what I just said, I don't think it's fully sunk in to go 14 for 14 on jump shots. That's absurd. I can't even. How do you even do that? Not only that, every single one of them was contested. He doesn't take catch and shoot shots. They're all off the dribble. They're all fadeaways. They're all with guys in his face. None of them were easy. Not a single one. And he made every single one. And the bounces that he got was like the basketball gods were just tipping him in once they were bouncing off of the rim. I don't think that it's not easy to contextualize just how amazing that was immediately afterwards. So maybe I am being hyperbolic, but I'll be honest. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. It's not an everyday thing to see a guy have a perfect game. It just never happens. The only other perfect game I remember in Suns history is I think one time Grant Hill went 9 for 9, and that's all catch and shoots from Steve Nash passes. That's not. Those are a lot easier shots, and that's the only other one I remember.
Yeah. Look, I think Nash probably had a couple of better games. I'm just remembering back to his true MVP seasons where, especially that year without Amari, he was sensational. But that being said, we're splitting hairs at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of another example other than Nash, though. I mean, Kevin Johnson had some gems, but nothing like this. You look back further into the team's history, Westfall, Walter Davis, other like great guards who played for the Suns, Van Arsdale. Obviously, I'm too young to like officially speak on kind of the tenure of all of those guys with the Suns, but my impression is to say that none of them had a game like this, not in the playoffs. So
yeah,
this is insane.
What about Bob Cousy? Do you think he has?
I already made that joke. I made that joke on Twitter. Bob Cousy could not have done this. No.